Martson, Councilman Joe McDonald Jr., City Clerk Michelle Bannon, and Solicitor Frank Ruggiero. I don't know that. We also want to thank the City of Carbondale for allowing us to put the ballot boxes in your facility at election time, and hopefully you'll continue to cooperate with us in the future with regard to that issue. Moving on, reading and approval of the minutes from the meeting held on Wednesday, September 1st. Do I have a motion to approve said minutes?
So moved.
Second.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opportunity for the board to address, or the public to address the board on agenda items only. Okay. Resolutions. 21-0238, approving current payables. Brian.
Be resolved, the Board of Commissioners, Lackawanna County is hereby approved the following payables. Lackawanna County's general fund numbers 328-062-339-018, inclusive totaling $3,246,512.96. Electronic fund transfers, including all payroll accounts, totaling $8,081,570.54. Adopted during the meeting Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on September 15th, 2021. Madam Commissioner.
I'm assuming everybody's had an opportunity to review the payables. Do I have a motion to approve?
I have a question on one. There's one in there, $330,000 for Joyce Jackman Bell. Is that out to bid, or is that put out to bid? Do we know what that was for?
Commissioner, what amount is that?
$330,000.
What page?
130,000.
300.
What page, Chris?
Oh,
I don't have
it's for various insurance policies. I could go over them real quick if you'd like me to.
Well, I didn't know if it was put out to bid or a lot of them.
They are, for the most part, one policy is for workers' compensation dated August 1st of 2021 through August 1st of 2022. Another is for commercial property, and that is dated April 1st, 21 till April 1st of 22. Another is business auto with Travelers, and that is April 1st also of 21 to April 1st of 22. General liability also with Travelers, April 1st of 21 to April 1st of 22. Cyber liability, same dates, April 1st to April 1st with Travelers. And that would be the total of the insurance policies, and I'm not aware of it being on.
Commissioner, I would just add, Rick Jones, our risk management director, is not here today. However, he normally doesn't put them out for bid, but he does get quotes on them because they're professional service, being insurance, are not really required to be bid. But I do know Rick usually gets quotes on it.
Let me add this, and I think this is part of a discussion which we started probably about a year ago. So Joyce Jackman Bell, I presume, are a broker of record.
Yes.
And as a result of that, yes, all of the insurance lines go through the broker of record. I think they've been our broker of record for a number of years. But to Commissioner Shermack's question, I don't know if we've ever changed or looked at the current broker of record status. And I think Gary and I had a discussion about that last year, at least the start of that discussion about whether or not, we should just take a look at it as a matter of good practice and due diligence, not to suggest anything is wrong or inappropriate. It's not, but just as a matter of due diligence and maybe something to take a look at going forward.
I do know that Rick does negotiate when he obtains policies. We've had lengthy discussions. And the other thing is on page 2, I have for Joyce Jackman and Bell $153,786. I don't have anything totaling over $300,000. Am I wrong, Gary?
The total is the $300,000.
Where's the other amounts listed?
The $153,000 is the workers' compensation.
Okay.
$153,786. Excuse me.
What page is that on?
After that is $77,397 for commercial property.
What page is that? Oh, I see.
153 is on page 2 of 22.
Right. Mm-hmm. 181,8
863 is on page 21 of 22.
Okay.
That, I believe, is the total of the 300,000. The breakdown is what I have previously discussed.
Okay, so there's, did I miss one? You said there's two, right? The one on page 21 and the one on page 2?
Page 2 of 22 and page 21 of 22.
And which one, the first one's for comp, what's the second one?
Workers' comp is the 153,000. Commercial property, $77,397 with Chubb Insurance Company. That's the third out of 4 quarterly installments. $38,930 is business auto with Travelers, and that is the third installment out of 4 quarterly installments.
Okay.
$64,259 is for general liability with Travelers, and that is also the third installment out of 4 quarterly installments. And the last one is a $1,277 bill for cyber liability with Travelers, third installment out of 4 quarterly installments.
Okay. Don and Frank, maybe at our next litigation meeting, we can talk to Rick about an RFP or something along that.
Sure.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve the payables.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. 21-0234, declaration of a disaster emergency. Brian?
So whereas on or about September 1st, 2021, flooding had caused or threatened to cause injury, damage, and suffering to the persons and property of Lackawanna County, and whereas flooding endangered the health, safety, and welfare of a substantial number of persons residing in Lackawanna County and threatened to create problems greater in scope than Lackawanna County may have been able to resolve, and whereas the Chief of Staff of Lackawanna County, the Executive Officer of Lackawanna County did declare, with the consent of the Board of Commissioners, a declaration of local disaster emergency pursuant to 7501B of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Services Act. Now therefore, we, the undersigned Commissioners of Lackawanna County, pursuant to the provisions of 7501 of the Emergency Services Act and 1.3-302T of the Lackawanna County Home Rule Charter, do hereby ratify and said declare of emergency, and do hereby declare the existence of an emergency existed on September 1st, 2021 in Lackawanna County, and further, we ratify the actions of the Lackawanna County Emergency Management Coordinator to coordinate the activities of the emergency response, to take all appropriate action needed to alleviate the effects of this disaster, to aid in the restoration of essential public services, and to take any emergency responses action deemed necessary to respond to this emergency. Still further, we ratify all actions by authorized officials of Lackawanna County to act as necessary to meet the exigencies of this emergency, namely the employment of temporary workers, by the rental of equipment, by the purchase of supplies and materials, and by entering such contracts and agreements for the performance of public work as was necessary and required to meet the emergency. All without regard to those time-consuming procedures and formalities normally prescribed by law, mandatory constitutional requirements accepted pursuant to the provisions of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Services Code 35 PA-CSA 7501. The declaration shall take effect immediately upon passage pursuant to 1.3-310 of the Lackawanna County Home Rule Charter. Adopted at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on September 15th, 2021. Madam Commissioner.
Now, Brian, this was, as indicated in the declaration of a disaster emergency in response to Hurricane Ida, where we had severe flooding in multiple municipalities. You signed as Chief of Staff, you're under law, you're permitted to do that, and as long as it's subsequently ratified by us, is that correct?
Yes, Madam Commissioner. I consulted with the solicitor. These are the documents that we provided and signed off on, and we are now about to vote on.
And by doing so, we will hopefully be able to get some sort of relief for our municipalities.
For some of those that were affected, absolutely, yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve 21-0234? On the question? All in favor? Aye. 21-0235, entering into an addendum with the CTC.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County, on behalf of the Lackawanna County Workforce Development Board, do hereby approve and enter into an addendum to the agreement with the Career Technology Center, originally approved on October 21st, 2020, for an increase in funding in the amount of $7,500 for the Business Education Partnership, Computer Building and Networking Academy. Adopted at the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on September 15th, 2021. Madam Commissioner, here to speak upon that is our Director of Economic Development, Ms. Brenda Sack.
Good morning. This resolution states that the county, on behalf of the Workforce Development Board, is amending an agreement with Career Technology Center to provide an additional $7,500 to cover the increased cost of supplies due to COVID-19 for its upcoming Computer Building and Networking Academy that will be conducted this fall. The original Business Education Partnership Grant Agreement was executed in October of 2020 and allows for such an amendment. Questions?
Anybody have any questions for Brenda? Do I have a motion to approve 21-0235?
Second.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. 21-0236, authorizing the filing of applications for local share account grants.
Whereas Lackawanna County is interested in promoting economic development and revitalization within Lackawanna County, and whereas Lackawanna County is submitting grant applications to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development through the Monroe County Local Share Grant Program on behalf of various agencies as detailed. Number 1, American Legion 411, Michael Steiner Post, Jessup $73,794 for the roof repair and replacement. Number 2, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 25, Theodore Wins, West Scranton, $175,430, building renovations and expansion. Number 3, the South Scranton Little League, $124,059 for the LED lighting project. Number 4, the Dow Institute, $100,000 renovations at Robinson Park. Number 5, Dunmore Missy League, $115,659 for field renovations. Number 6, the Meredith Hose Company, $314,850 for new building construction. Number 7, Mid-Valley School District, $28,661 for the turf replacement project. Number 8, the Manuka Athletic Association, $42,000 for the field equipment. Number 9, North Springs Little League, $161,895 for field improvements. Whereas Lackawanna County hereby authorizes the chair of the Lackawanna County Board of Commissioners to sign and authorize all documents and accept any awards related to these Monroe County local share account grants. And now therefore be resolved this 15th day of September 2021 that the Lackawanna County Board of Commissioners does hereby authorize the submission of these applications to the Monroe County Local Share Account Grant Program on behalf of the above-named entities and the respective projects adopted at the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on September 15, 2021. And Commissioner, once again, here is Director Sack.
Brenda, can you start by explaining to people what the Monroe County Local Share Account Grants is?
So the LSA grant program was established, and it's gaming funds, and the intention is for the state to give those funds back to the community. So we apply every year, September 30th, on behalf of these organizations. If they're awarded, we then administer them on their behalf.
Does anybody have any questions for Brenda? So I have a motion to approve resolution 21-0236.
Motion. Second.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. 21-0237, authorizing the filing of a redevelopment assistance capital program grant.
Whereas the Old Forest School District Capital Improvements Project entails rehabilitation to an existing property located at 300 Mary Street in Old Forest, Pennsylvania, and whereas the County of Lackawanna is an eligible applicant for Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program funds as a source to finance the project and has accepted the role of the official applicant in this project. And whereas the Old Forest School District has been awarded funding in the amount of $500,000 to assist in completing their proposed project from the Commonwealth's Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program. And whereas the county desires to assist the Old Forest School District in administering this project with the Commonwealth Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program grant through a mutual cooperation agreement for the project, and whereas Lackawanna County hereby authorizes the chairwoman of the Lackawanna County Board of Commissioners or an authorized official to sign and authorize any and all documents and accept any funding related to these redevelopment assistance capital program funds, and now therefore be it resolved that the Lackawanna County Board of Commissioners is hereby authorized to act as the project applicant and to file the formal application and business plan on behalf of the Old Forest School District prepare and execute a required mutual cooperation agreement and to accept an award in the amount of $500,000 from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for a redevelopment assistance capital program grant on behalf of the Workforce School District for the project. Adopted a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on September 15, 2021. Madam Commissioner, once again, here is Director Sack.
Brenda, I'm still, we're still learning. You have a lot of moving parts going on in your department. But what the redevelopment assistance capital?
You have to wait till the train goes by.
I know. Explain what it is and what makes the Old Forge School District eligible for it. Sorry.
We can use one of these in our meetings.
We're trying to give you the full effect of your card.
Yeah, I get it. It's not a bad thing.
So the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Grant Program is through the state of Pennsylvania, and they are funds that are utilized to spur economic and community development. So each year, sometimes it may be once or twice a year, they'll open rounds for funding where eligible applicants can apply for the funding. We, the county, are an eligible applicant. Old Forge itself would not be eligible to apply directly, so we apply and they become the sub-applicant. So the first stages are to submit that application. Then once you're allowed to move forward with your application that the state gives you authorization, we then move on to this piece where we then file the official plan and move forward with the grant.
Did other entities submit as well, or is this something that just Old Forge did? I guess that.
We have many that we are actually administering, and we have over a dozen that we're administering. So this one is just right now in the planning phases. They have to come back with their plan once they receive the award. So that's the point that we're at right now.
Does anybody have any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve 21-0237?
Motion. Second.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Thanks, Brenda. 21-0239, entering into a maintenance and repair agreement.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County does hereby enter into a maintenance and repair agreement with Witkowski Fencing Incorporated for the repair of the security gates and barrier arms at the county facilities. Adopted the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County held on September 15, 2021. Madam Commissioner, here to speak upon that is our Director of Maintenance, Mr. Mark Stewart.
Hey, Mark.
Hello, good morning, everybody. This is just a maintenance agreement for all our gates and slide gates in our parking lots. Like, we have 4 at the Lackawanna County Courthouse. We have 1 at the Gateway. We have 1 at the Criminal Justice Center and 1 at the parking lot at the Government Center. And we went through all the people that we normally deal with, and they're not doing it anymore, and some people are going out of business. All door sales, road door, and overhead door absolutely said no. So I had to go out to somebody else. We have to get a new contract, and this is what this is, a new contract for somebody to repair and maintain our gates.
And how much is the contract for?
Well, the contract is basically for an at-will contract. So to look at a gate, just say they come up from Swarsville and stuff like that, their bottom line is like $125 for the first visit.
Okay.
Okay. Then it just increases after that on parts and labor and stuff like that.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mark? Do I have a motion to approve 21-0239?
Motion.
Second.
On the question? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Motions, 21-0240, a motion to award the recycling and waste disposal service to Waste Management, 13 Peggy Parkway, Dunmore, PA, to cost $116,394.60 for 1 year, with a 4% increase in years 2 and 3. Joe?
Yes, earlier this year, Commissioners approved the issuance of a request for proposal for recycling and waste management services. 2 bids were received. Based upon the information received and analysis done by our waste management consultant, Edge Insights, Waste Management was selected due to their pricing and history of service.
Does anybody have any questions for Joe?
Question, Madam Chairwoman. I had discussions with Attorney Ruggiero and Attorney Frederickson regarding the fact that this contract was going through the process of request for proposals. Frank addressed this, Attorney Ruggiero, and he said he'd like to comment on it today.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Controller DeBillio had, as he indicated, had inquired why we had used the RFP process as opposed to a competitive bidding process. And what we had indicated, and I think Mr. Wexler had spoken to this morning as well, or at least the time back to Reggie. A couple of things. One is we had an outside consulting firm that was assisting us in this process here. Secondly, previously we had always done it by RFP. And thirdly, the uniqueness really of the city and the county. There were many locations where we're going to require a professional service as far as picking up and dumping the dumpsters and the like, much more so than what we'll say we thought we could achieve in just putting it out for a competitive bid. So we wanted to be able to address the uniqueness related to the county, and that was certainly done as a professional service. So that's the reason I went out.
And you had mentioned the licensing through the state of Pennsylvania, that's required for that, or maybe it was that was done.
Yeah, actually, waste haulers, municipal waste haulers are required to be licensed under the Waste Transportation Safety Act of 90, so that qualifies it as a professional service.
So then, Frank, are you saying that there are certain, like there's a differentiation between the RFP versus the competitive bid and what we were talk it for the general public?
Sure. So there's three ways really to engage in procurement with public dollars. You either do a competitive bid, you do an RFP, or you do an RFQ.
Right.
Competitive bids, anything that's deemed to be a professional service is outside or can be outside the realm of a competitive bid. Doesn't mean that you can't use the competitive bid, but really when it's a professional service, what you're looking to capture is the uniqueness of that professional service. So that's why you would do it as an RFP and or an RFQ. If
the
you're
competitive bid, you have to take
you must take the lowest responsible bidder. Where with an RFP, you're not required to do that. You're looking more at the uniqueness of the professional service as opposed to just looking at it from a pure cost standpoint.
So you can,
really what you're going
right? You can. So in essence, it's you're able to look and see who provides the best services for our need.
Right, because you're looking for a professional service as opposed to, say, a general service of which, many other entities may be able to achieve.
Okay.
That's the difference there.
Does anybody else?
Does that help address?
Thank you, yes.
And in this instance, Waste Management was the lowest bidder.
Yes, yes, they will.
Sometimes I don't know if the general public understands all the stuff that we rattle off up here, so I just wanted to offer them some explanation. Do I have a motion for passing of 21-0240?
You made the motion.
Oh, I made the motion. I need a second.
Second.
On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chris, are you an aye? Thank you. Opportunity for the public to address the board. Hi.
I've been here in the past. My name is Eric Setzer, and I've been speaking about the elections. Seems to be still assured that it's on the up and up. I've done some research on my own, and all these statistics are from the Department of Voter Registration data. It's publicly available information. I just want to know here, sitting with this Commissioners Board this morning, are you guys aware of the 1,991 voters backfilled into the SURE system? Are you aware of 714 duplicate registrations? Are you aware of over 15,000 first-time voters for this election? Are you aware of the 912 inactive voters? Or the 143 mail-in ballots that were recorded but do not have any voter ID in the SURE system? Or the 243 that were received after November 3rd? Are you aware of 220 mail-in ballots recorded that were sent out of state? And are you also aware of the 5,696 registrations removed from the voter rolls between the week of the election? Are we aware of any of these numbers?
You can leave those numbers with us and we'll look into it.
Okay. Thank you.
I think Tracy gave you her email last time, right?
Yes.
Do you want to just email that information to her?
Oh, I sure will. Yeah. Sure will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Hi.
I'm John Devine. I live in South Abington Township, and I'm on a volunteer group with the county called Be the Shield, and it's regarding foster care. CASA's on there. There's a youth center in Scranton. I've been working on the committee as a volunteer for about 2 years, along with them. And one of the things we came up with was to go out for an RFP or RFQ, I'm not sure because I wasn't involved in that, to try to promote foster care in the county, to try to recruit additional foster care parents. That was done, and actually my wife and I donated phase 1. We paid for the first phase. Other phases were in a contract that they did with the county here, and I'm really standing up to inquire where it is, because 2 months have went by and I don't know where it is in the system. I deal with Lori Schaefer's at the, she's with the Office of Youth, Children and Youth. So I'd like to know that, because
What we'll do, Mr. Devine, is after this meeting is over, we'll talk and you can email, you can send me all that information, and I'll get it to Mr. Brown.
right, I'd just like to know where we are with the contract and moving forward. By the way, it was going to save the county money, because right now the child placement for foster care goes to a private placement agency, so you pay them as well. So if you could do some recruitment effort on your own, or additional recruitment effort, I think it would, the idea would save money.
More selfless act than being foster care.
Correct. So that's. And this whole group with court-appointed volunteers as well, and YMCA is on the committee, so it's all to promote children.
So our chief of staff will get you in touch with our director of human services.
Okay, Mr. Devine, amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, commissioners, other business. Jerry. Christopher.
Busy weekend, 9/11, and all the memorials, the walks, the suicide walk. Even did a walk for Judge Barace with the Recovery Center, so it was a very busy weekend, and it was a lot of fun. I just wanted to thank Kendra Lynn and Dave Isley, and I know there's other people involved there, but really were the lead on getting the 9/11, remembering our fallen wall monument to McDade Park, and we started dismantling it about 7 o'clock this morning. So it will be gone as of probably right now, but it was a great display. We had a lot of visitors. I was there all 3 days. And it was just something to see, and I'm looking forward to, we're hoping that we're going to be back here in 2025, I'm sorry, for the 25th anniversary. So hopefully we'll have it, and if you didn't get there, make sure you get there next time, but it was very good. The only other concern I have, something came across my desk a couple weeks ago, and I'm just concerned, and I want to make sure that everyone's aware that I don't know who authorized or what, but I saw something come across that we are asking the state about adding an additional $5 to vehicle registration fees for Lackawanna County to collect to appropriate towards roads and bridges, which I have no problem with funding roads and bridges and additional funds, but
We're just going to talk and aspect of it. Right?
We are just talking about it because of the disrepair in so many of our bridges, which are being.
No problem with that. I'm not going to go along with a $5 fee.
So what'll happen, and give you, just so you know, you have to give PennDOT 90-day notice that you want to be part of the program, and then we'd have to have a first and a second reading and then a vote on it. So you can then, at that point, air your concerns. But right now, it's just something we're looking into because of the fact that we have bridges in such disrepair. One is, we just had to purchase a replacement bridge.
We're looking at getting a temporary bridge.
Temporary
We're going to talk
bridge.
to the commissioners about that today.
And the problem is, particularly with the bridges that are over 20 feet, correct me if I'm wrong,
That's correct.
is that you have to go through PennDOT, and the way I look at it is what's happening is that you have a bridge that's either about to close or is closed, and then it takes like 3 years to get that bridge fixed after you go through everything with PennDOT, and by the time you do that, another bridge is in the same condition, so we can't catch up. So it's just a program that I did speak to Mike Carroll about, he's a state rep. He has particular knowledge about it. If we do decide to move forward with it, we will have Larry Lucasic, who's our director of roads and bridges, here to explain it to everybody. And we don't take putting into effect fees lightly, but we need to do what's best for the county.
If I make a question, the county owns 154 bridges. About 40 of those bridges are 20 feet or above. Each one of those are 20 feet long. Anything that's over 20 feet is a minimum of $1 million to replace. But we've got about 12 right now that are in bad shape. One in particular, or two in particular right now are closed, but we're going to put the temporary bridge in that we talked about.
One we have a temporary in, and you can only have a temporary for 5 years, and we're already 3 years in on a 5.
That's correct.
Right.
And we are currently replacing bridges as we speak. There's one that's being replaced in Moscow. We just opened one up in I believe it's Clifton or Covington Township. I can't remember at the top of my head. But we have some bridges in bad shape. And unfortunately, we are in possession of 154 of them. So the time-consuming efforts that we get with PennDOT, they're very cooperative and they're helpful, but it takes a long time. And it's basically you can replace one bridge a year.
And the advantage to it, and we'll talk about this more in detail, but the advantage to it is that if we get in before they close the program, the PennDOT will match up to $2 million. So I think we figured out that we would generate, based upon the number of cars in Lackawanna County, around $850,000 a year. So they would match that $850,000. And then next year, if it was the same amount, they would do the same amount. And then the third year, they would match whatever $2 million is minus 17. Where am I at?
You're about $1.7 million.
Right, so another 300,000. And then after that, the caveat is you have to use that money for bridges over 20 feet. But once we get beyond the match of PennDOT, of the state, then we can start using it for our bridges that are under 20 feet, and then our, what would you call it?
35 miles of road.
35 miles of road. So it's just something we're talking about, and again, we'll look more or discuss it more at a later date if that's something we decide to do. I just want to remind any police officers who are listening out there, we had our first training on September 13th, this past Monday. The second one is September 20th, this Monday. Then next Friday, the 24th, and following Monday, the 27th. We are also opening it up to sheriffs, because I'm talking to you boys back there, because you guys are Act 120 certified, so you need MOPAC credits as well. So these are 4.5 hours of MOPAC credits. I believe you need 12 a year. And we will probably do it again in January for people who have already gotten their credits this year, but we need the people who, we need people to sign, to show up and make this a success so we can continue it next year. Do you have anything?
Well, just very quickly, we have, obviously the parade is this weekend. We're hoping that everybody masks up out there. That starts at noon. Prior to the parade starting, we have a vaccination clinic being held at Scranton High School. It's from 9 to 12. They can go onto our webpage, or they can go onto Hometown Healthcare's webpage and sign up for it. The links will be available. We encourage everyone from 12 years old to continue getting vaccinated. Our numbers are at 73% fully vaccinated from 12 years and above, 75% at 18 years old.
Brian, explain to the people the conversation you had with the epidemiologist. How is
Our transmissions are outpacing our vaccinations at this point. So the surge that everybody keeps talking about is really kind of upon us now, and it's going to continue to keep going up. The hospitalizations for the last week in Lackawanna County were at 32. So while that number looks like it's low, those who are going into the hospitals, those 32 individuals that were going into the hospitals were there for severe symptoms of COVID. They weren't there just because they had a runny nose. We are obviously in a stage right now where we would like to get people vaccinated quicker, and so we can fight off the Delta variant. If we don't, we anticipate a very long and tough winter ahead of us. At this point, I'm sure everybody read the article in yesterday's paper. Most of those who are affected by COVID and are in the hospital and having severe symptoms are unvaccinated.
The other thing is too, is that when COVID first hit, everybody was in shock, and then we kind of learned to live in this, with this pandemic. And now things are starting to open up again. So it would be very disappointing and have a really negative effect on all of us if we have to turn around and go back into a more restrictive capacity and we lose our ability to, shop and entertain and have parties and all that stuff.
And that's the point of being vaccinated at this point. It is not just for their well-being, it's for everyone's well-being. I mean, 74% of us, or 75% of the 18-year-olds and above have done their duty for their community. The other 25% can deal with this.
Okay, anybody else? All right, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
On the question, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.